Welcome once again to Senior Focus. I'm your host, Bill Adams. Senior Focus comes to you a couple times each month on Armstrong's channel 20 and 100. And thank you to Greg Roten from Armstrong Cable for producing the show and getting it on air for you. And also thanks to Keith Kaiser because he allows us to be in the beautiful Davis Visitor Center at Fellows Riverside Gardens. And we certainly encourage you to come out and check out the gardens and all of Mill Creek Metro Parks. If you happen to miss part of the show today, you can always go to OnDemand on Armstrong or also on YouTube. If you type in Senior Focus and Armstrong Cable, the show will be on YouTube later at a later date. And today we're going to be talking with Melissa Ames. Melissa is with the Better Business Bureau, and thanks for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
And we're going to be talking about all the ways that folks in the audience can protect yourself and your identity, and we just don't want to see you lose money.
Exactly.
And there are unfortunately many ways that people have sort of figured out to steal people's money and
any way, shape, or form. In fact, we work very closely with the Federal Trade Commission, and last year $1.4 billion was taken from consumers through a variety of different scams. And this is not, the things we're going to talk about today, we have seen locally. I have seen people who have become victims of these scams. So we encourage people to listen, tell your friends and family, share these stories, because we don't want to see even more people become victims.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, I think most of us have our antenna up when something comes out that seems too good to be true, but even, as we'll see, even some of these, you know, they could catch even the most wary consumer because they're so tricky.
Exactly. I have spoken to a lot of people who said, you know what, they got me at the right time in the right moment, and I just wasn't paying attention, and the TV was on, and I was cooking dinner, and the phone rang, and all of a sudden, you know, they're giving away personal information. So really, you have to know the red flags. That way, when you see a situation, you know what to do.
Well, at the top, why don't we give out your contact information, and we'll give this out later in the show, but in case people have questions or they need more information.
We are available Monday through Friday. Our phone number at the office is 330-744-3111. You can visit our website, which is youngstown.bbb.org. And one thing I want to point out is all of our services to the public are free of charge. So if a consumer ever were to have a question or a concern, they can certainly call our office, run it past someone on the staff, and we'll be more than happy to help you in any way we can.
Okay. Do you want to just go right into, I guess, some of the scams that are common, that, you know, are well known, I guess?
Sure.
Maybe not to the general public, but...
One thing which we saw happen a lot through 2013 is what we called the medical alert scam.
Okay.
And we talked to consumers throughout the Mahoning Valley who were receiving phone calls saying that they were eligible for a free medical alert system. And what ended up happening was the caller would ask the consumer for personal information such as a social security number, maybe a bank account number, or a credit card number to pay for the monthly monitoring fee, generally around $35. At the end of the day, the consumer was being charged $35 a month, but never received the system.
Oh.
Yes,
okay.
And they had great difficulty in getting their money back because these are scam artists, not real companies. So we saw a lot of consumers who were receiving a lot of phone calls and quite a few who lost some money.
Okay, so how do you protect yourself in that situation? What's the best thing to do?
Well, first of all, a lot of these medical alert systems are provided through Medicare. So we told consumers, if you had a question about a company, contact Medicare directly. And these companies that work for Medicare are not allowed to publicly solicit. So that's how we knew, first of all, that's the major red flag.
Right.
But we, like anything, we recommend call a couple companies, do your research, find out what services they offer, how the equipment differs, and you can certainly check with the Better Business Bureau, and we will give you a company's BBB business review.
Right.
But never give your personal information to someone who calls you over the phone. You don't know who they are. You don't know if they are lying about who they are and what they're doing with your personal information.
Okay. So that's the medical alert.
Yes.
What are some others?
One thing which we've seen kind of pop up over these past few weeks because it's been so cold is the utility scam.
Okay.
And in fact, not too long ago, there was a news report about someone locally being arrested. And consumers are receiving phone calls. There may be a person going door to door saying that you are late on your utility bill. And they need either cash up front, bank account information. In some cases, the caller is asking you to wire money or get a prepaid credit card, such as a Green Dot card. And that will take care of your utility bill. And again, because it's been so cold, consumers get into a panic. They just want to resolve the situation, get it taken care of, and keep their utility on. It's a very scary situation, and again, I mean, we've seen a couple seniors fall victim to this, but really anyone can fall victim to this scam.
Do you know how did they catch the person locally? Was it?
I believe he was going door to door, and they were able to catch up with him. A local consumer alerted the police department to it. But if it's someone who's calling you over the phone, unfortunately, it's much harder to catch that person when they're calling you.
Right. I just thought, do you work with other agencies than the police, maybe, and the Attorney General's office?
We do. We work very closely with the Attorney General's office. We're kind of their eyes and ears on the ground. As the BBB is a nonprofit organization, we're not a legal entity. And what we try to do is work with consumers and businesses to resolve marketplace issues and educate consumers. What's nice about our arrangement with the Attorney General is they're the legal entity. So if we see something going on here in the Mahoning Valley that we feel needs legal attention, we will contact them. On a national scale, we also work with the Federal Trade Commission, the FCC. So there's a lot of partnerships, and what we try to do at the end of the day is make sure that there's trust in the marketplace and consumers can find great local businesses.
What you had mentioned about the utility scam, and again, they were preying on the cold weather and that need for keeping the heat going. I guess that's maybe an element of a lot of these things. These are services that people need, and maybe folks are nervous, that they really need the service.
Exactly. You need your electricity, you need your gas to run your furnace, and what they like to do is catch you that, like I said earlier, that inopportune time where you're not really aware, or maybe you quite hadn't had the opportunity to think the offer through or think the phone call through. And that is very commonplace in a lot of scams. The other kind of red flag that we see in scams is the method of payment. And what we're finding out is actually last year, again with the Federal Trade Commission, is most of scams, how they steal the money from consumer is either through wire transfers, through prepaid cards, and through credit cards. So we always tell consumers, if someone happens to call you and says that you need to pay for something through a wire transfer, that is your major red flag. Wire transfers cannot be traced. We don't know who they go to. We don't know where they go to. So if someone asks you to wire money and you don't know who they are, you might just want to hang up the phone. Don't do it.
Right. And that sort of sounds like I've seen these myself on email. These one of the things you have listed is the arrest warrant scam. Well, I've heard a version of that where supposedly one of your friends is overseas or on a trip somewhere and they got arrested and they're in trouble and I need money, would you please send it to me? And you sort of laugh at it, but I guess if it was written well enough,
Sure.
And it's amazing though that they could find out who your friends are, and I guess they do that maybe through Facebook.
Through the internet, and first of all, I'm going to say I talk to a lot of people who say, "Well, I'm not online. I don't have a computer. I don't have an email. My information is secure," and that's not the case. Everyone has information out there online. If you own your own home, if you are employed somewhere, there is information about you online. All you have to do is Google yourself. So these scam artists are smart, and they will research you. They will see if you're listed in the phone book. They will contact the Mahoning County Auditor's website. and see if you are listed online, if you own your own home.
Okay.
And so there are a lot of different ways that they research you before they actually pick up the phone or email you in some instances. And again, they want to create that sense of panic.
Right.
And so what we're finding is consumers are being called at home saying that there is an arrest out for their, or a warrant out for their arrest, I should say.
Oh, boy.
And it's usually due to an unpaid credit card bill.
Okay.
And again, it creates that sense of panic, that sense of urgency. And what the caller asks the consumer is to wire money or to get a prepaid card in order to pay off this debt, and then the arrest warrant will be canceled. We all know that's not how these things work.
Right. The wire, as you said, just hang up the phone at
Yes,
that point.
if someone calls you and asks you for money through a wire transfer, again, just hang up the phone.
Right. Well, and the other, you've talked a couple times about the prepaid card.
Yes.
How does that work? And again, that's something to obviously avoid, but how do they do that?
Well, you can go to any major retailer and get a prepaid card, whether it's
Okay.
Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and you can put money on that card.
Oh,
And
okay.
what they're going to do is you're going to go to the store, you're going to buy that card for whatever the amount is, you know, let's say it's $500. Then you're going to go back and you're going to call your contact, the person who called you, and you're going to
Okay.
read them that number.
Oh,
And then that's the way that they're able to take that $500 off that prepaid card.
okay. Well, and I see how they're doing this, and again, I guess some of the old ways where they would get you to go to the bank, but I think hopefully the banks now, I think they train tellers and folks at the bank to watch out for these large
They
withdrawals.
do.
Yeah.
We talked to a consumer, actually that's kind of a nice segue into the next scam we see is the grandparent scam.
Oh, okay.
And we have seen many news stories about consumers who have fallen victim to this. And there are many more out there who just maybe have fallen victim and don't want to talk about it, they're embarrassed.
Right.
But what happens is you will receive a phone call in the middle of the night. They'll say, you know, hi Grandpa, it's me, my friends and I, you know, our car broke down. Mom and Dad said not to go anywhere, and we're in some trouble. Can you wire us some money so we can get the car fixed?
Oh, boy.
And we'll see it a lot, especially this time of year as the college kids and high school kids are going on spring break.
Okay.
And you know, you maybe know that your grandchild is out of the state. And we had a lady in Salem who she had received a phone call in the middle of the night from her granddaughter. Her granddaughter was supposedly in Florida.
She thought it was her granddaughter.
She thought it was a great point. She thought it was her granddaughter. They had this conversation. The granddaughter was in trouble, needed money. So this consumer went to her local bank, and the teller picked up on a few of the signs and asked this consumer, you know, have you talked to your granddaughter today? Have you talked to her parents? Let's give her a call to find out where she is.
Right.
And it ended up that this granddaughter had not gone on vacation. She was in her dorm room, and it ended up, you know, both parties ended up crying, and it was really a great situation that this teller was able to pick up on the signs and prevent this consumer from wiring $10,000
Oh, my. Oh, boy.
to someone that she doesn't know.
Right.
So, but there are some instances where we're just not able to pick up on it. So
Right. Right. Well, that was great work on that person's behalf.
it was amazing, and it ended up, you know, being a great story. And it's really a lesson for everyone. Again, if someone asks you to wire money, you might just, you know, have to do a little homework.
Right. Just don't jump to conclusions on anything like that.
Exactly.
Well, as the weather breaks too, one of the scams on the list of top 10 scams, and I'm sure there are many more.
Yes.
but is the inevitable the home improvement situation?
Yes.
And just talk about, you know, how that works and some of the examples.
Well, due to all the snowstorms we've had, we're anticipating a lot of roof problems. And what we've seen in the past several years are these contractors who are from outside of the area, and they will go door to door. They will tell you that you have damage to your roof and that it needs to be fixed immediately. And what this contractor wants to do is work on your behalf with your insurance company and file it as a homeowner's insurance claim.
Okay.
We've heard a lot of scary situations. Sometimes we've heard of the contractors intentionally causing damage to the roof in order to get the job. and
boy.
to prove that there is damage. There was one consumer on the west side of Youngstown who said that they had a contractor come to their home, and they signed what they thought was a free estimate.
Okay.
And when she actually turned the paper over, she realized that it was a contract. And unfortunately, this contractor did not have the best of reputations.
Okay.
So we recommend anytime someone comes to your door and you don't know who they are, first of all, shut the door. And if you feel that you have damage to your home, contact your insurance company. They will let you know whether or not you are eligible for a claim.
Okay.
And then second of all, you can then start shopping. If you are eligible, you can then start shopping for your contractor. You
Right.
can contact the Better Business Bureau. We will give you a list of reputable companies in this area, and we'll give you some pointers on what to look for.
Okay.
For example, what to look for in an estimate, what to look for in a contract, and what your rights are as a consumer. But just don't believe the first guy that comes knocking on your door.
Right. Yeah, I was in the home of a gentleman, this is in Pennsylvania, and it was the driveway paving
Yes.
scam. And that was a shame because he was telling me this happened a couple years before, and he had paid out a couple
Thousands of
thousand.
dollars.
Yeah, 3,000 or 4,000 or whatever it was, yeah.
Yeah, and certainly no home improvement is cheap, and you want to make sure, I mean, this is your home, you want to make sure that it's done right and done well. And we unfortunately talk to a lot of contractors who maybe feel a lot of pressure by the contractor, or I should say consumers, to feel a lot of pressure to sign the contract from the contractor. They are maybe unfamiliar with everything. But what I tell people is if you are uncomfortable, take some time to think about it. Ask your friends and family. But don't feel that you have to sign the contract right then and there.
Right, there's no hurry generally on these type of situations.
No, you can certainly take a few days to think about it, and any reputable contractor will understand that.
Right. Well, at this point, why don't we give the contact information again, because you were saying you folks can call the Better Business Bureau here in Youngstown to find out, lists of reputable companies.
Sure. Our phone number is 330-744-3111. Our website is youngstown.bbb.org. We are on Twitter. We're on Facebook. You can find us. All you have to do is Google us. And again, we'll be more than happy to give you any information that we have. We cover Columbiana, Mahoning, and Trumbull counties. We have companies in all three counties that we can get you information on. But the BBB is a national organization.
Okay.
So we'll talk to some people who are living, they're snowbirds, and they might
Right.
have a place in Florida. We can certainly get you information on companies in Florida or California, wherever you may be. So we're a free service. Go ahead and take advantage of us, and it's just more information to empower consumers.
Well, we've been talking about a lot of the different scams that involve, where people come to your door, or they call you on the phone, and a lot of it has to prey on the needs of people, but also I guess sometimes it preys on sort of the greed of us. And I'm thinking of, one of the things that's listed is the foreign currency scam.
Yes.
Or any kind of investment where, you're promised, well, you could
Well,
describe that.
we'll see with the foreign currency scam, and we saw this a lot when we had the war in Iraq,
Okay.
but we're seeing it some more as Egypt is going through a transformation right now, and we've heard from consumers they're being contacted by phone, they're being contacted by email, and they have the opportunity to buy foreign currency now that it's valued pretty low.
Right.
And what the caller or the email is telling you is that as Egypt is restructuring their government, that they are expecting the price of the Egyptian pound to increase.
Okay.
And so you can buy it really low and then sell it really high and make
Yeah.
some money off of this. We saw it with the Iraqi dinar.
Right.
And what we're telling consumers is really if the economists are not sure about this opportunity, you might want to hold back and save yourself some money, because at the end of the day, the investment may not pan out.
Right. Well, and also, here's another scam that involves more the newer technology, scam texts.
Yes. We've talked about phone calls, we've talked about emails, text messages are just the next way to receive a contact by a con artist.
Right.
We'll sometimes see texts that your identity has been compromised and that you have to verify your social security number. We'll see this pretty often with credit cards and the banking industry. But just like any other communication, if you don't know who it is, do not respond. If you happen to receive a text that it says that your identity has been compromised and they're claiming to be your bank,
Right.
why don't you just go to your local branch? Or, call the number that's on the back of your credit card.
Right.
Do not call the number that they give you.
Right.
Because you're just calling the scam artist back.
And they're going to somehow weasel out your information, and then they have access to your account.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just contact your bank directly, find out if there's been any problems, but don't respond back to that text.
Okay. And then you have something called the Scam of the Year, which is about the Affordable Care Act.
Yes.
Again, I actually work in this area, helping folks to sign up for health insurance. But some unscrupulous folks have figured out how to even...
Anything that's in the news, that's a hot topic, there are scam artists are going to take advantage of. And what we've heard from consumers is that they're receiving phone calls and emails and texts that there are all kinds of new benefits for the Affordable Health Care Act.
Right.
And what they're trying to do is get your personal information. They may tell you that you need a new Medicare card, but in order to do that, they need to verify your bank account number and your social security number. Well, we all know that's not how Medicare will contact you if you
Right.
are enrolled in Medicare. So don't talk to the caller. Hang up the phone.
Right.
Again, if you have any questions about your coverage or how to enroll, they can certainly contact you. They can contact Medicare, contact your insurance company, but just don't talk to the person on the phone or give them any information.
Right. And again, for most folks, if you're 65 plus and on Medicare, the new law really doesn't affect you much at all. I mean, your Medicare is not really changed. But yeah, it's just a good idea never to give out information, as you're saying, social security number, bank account, any personal information on the phone.
Exactly.
Well, we've talked quite a bit about scams and things, and some good stories too, where they've been prevented. But you're involved in a lot more, the Better Business Bureau. Could you describe some of the other programs you have?
Sure. Well, our primary mission is to drive consumers to trustworthy businesses. And so we do that through providing consumers lists of reliable companies in the area. But we know that the marketplace is not always perfect. And what we have is a complaint resolution process. And what we do, it's very similar to mediation. We work with a company and we work with a consumer to resolve complaints.
Okay.
It's a great opportunity to avoid small claims court, and both parties are involved. We want to make sure that the company is responsive to consumers, and consumers understand the whole process with companies. It's a great program. We have about 1,300 complaints a year, and we're really happy that we're able to bring both parties together. We also have an arbitration program.
Okay.
And what we'll do is, sometimes our mediation process doesn't work, and which is fine, but what we do is we bring an independent arbitrator in, and he listens to both sides and makes a legally binding opinion.
Okay.
What's great about this program, and that you're not going to get in small claims court, is, say for example you're having a problem with your roof, we will actually hold the arbitration at your home, and the arbitrator will make will do an inspection of your roof.
Okay, so you have an on-spot or on-site investigation.
Yes, and we've brought experts in, and again, what's nice is both parties are working together to find a resolution. You're not going to find that at any other organization or in small claims court.
Well, that's nice to know. I really didn't know about all of that service. That's great.
Yes, another program that we have that you might be interested in is we call it Tips for Seniors. And it's just a monthly tip sheet that we send out, different articles of interest for seniors in the area. They can contact our office. We will sign them up, and you will get it once a month for free, no charge. They can call 330-744-3111.
And you won't ask for their social security
We will
number.
not ask for their social security number,
Okay.
just name and address so we can send you out the paperwork.
Sure. And I know another program that you have is with Charitable Giving. And a lot of the folks out watching today, I'm sure, have given or donated to very reputable nonprofits in our area nationwide. But we also, you see on the news that there are unfortunately scam nonprofits that are just set up to take in money, basically.
If there is a way to scam someone out of their money, These guys will find it. What we do is we have a charitable giving program.
Okay.
And what we do is we ask charitable organizations that publicly solicit to voluntarily give their information to us. And we evaluate them against the BBB's 20 standards for charitable giving. And we will let you know whether or not it is a reputable charity or whether or not they did not disclose their information to us. It's about transparency. When a charitable organization is asking for your money, they should tell you what they're doing with their money. And they should take great care to make sure that their programs and their operations are running in a manner that benefits the consumers and the donors in the valley. And so we recommend that anytime you get a charitable solicitation, take a few minutes, do a little homework, do a little research, find out if it is a reputable organization and how they're really spending your money at the end of the day.
And one of the ways that I know I've seen this just in person through things that come in the mail, you'll get some of these organizations that will actually send you little trinkets or little free things. And you think, and then again, the production value of the mailing is really good, and it sounds. I mean, again, just to take general idea, it could be a veterans organization, it could be something with children, it could be animal related.
Yes.
But the pictures and the descriptions of the suffering involved.
Yes. Well, in some cases, they're sending you mailing labels. Well,
Okay,
it kind of
right.
makes you wonder if they're spending money on these mailing labels. Shouldn't that money maybe be going towards their programs?
Right, and so that's that's the main thing to look at is how much actually goes to the service that people need.
We recommend that at least 65% of your donation make it to the program at the end of the day.
Okay.
So say, for example, they are buying teddy bears for sick kids. It's a wonderful mission. At least 65% of your donation should make it to those kids at the end of the day. And any legitimate organization will be able to tell you a number. If they are kind of skirting around the issue and they can't tell you how much of your donation is making it to the program, that is a major red flag.
Okay. Well, again, we're talking with Melissa Ames. She is with the Better Business Bureau here in Youngstown. And why don't we just sort of summarize, again, maybe you can give out the contact information.
Sure. Our phone number is 330-744-3111. You can visit us at youngstown.bbb.org. We are there Monday through Friday. If it's there on the weekend, you can send us an email. But what we're trying to do at the end of the day is educate consumers to help find trustworthy businesses and help consumers avoid scams, because there are not so many operating in this area, but con artists like to target this area because we do have a high senior citizen population.
Right, and that just made me think if folks are out there and they belong to a senior club or a church group or something, do you go out and actually speak to them? Yeah.
Absolutely. We're going out in a few weeks to talk to a few senior organizations. We are free of charge, so just give us a call and we'd love to set up a date with your organization.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Melissa. I
Thank
appreciate you coming out. And we hope that this has been very informative for you, and you'll pass this information along to your family and friends so that you'll be safe. Again, you've been watching Senior Focus. I'm your host, Bill Adams. And we come to you on Armstrong Channel 20 and 100 through the good graces of Greg Roden from Armstrong. And also, thank you to Keith Kaiser from Mill Creek Metro Parks here at the Davis Visitor Center. He allows us to use the rooms here to film the show. And if you missed any of it, you can always go to Armstrong OnDemand or go to YouTube and just type in Senior Focus Armstrong Cable in the search box, and you can see the whole show up on YouTube. Until next time, we want to thank you for watching.